Good afternoon. It's been a beautiful day here in sunny Salford. I'm Niamh McDermott and here's what's in store for you today. The fuel crisis continues, but how is this impacting our vital emergency services? We speak to the Salford Student Crowned Volunteer of the Year and the Media City entertaining using an app to teach children about social justice. All this and more here in your Quays News.
Hello and welcome to Quays TV News. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
We have dressed in pink to show our support. Visit wearitpink.org to find out more.
Now our top story. Unions have called on the government to allow emergency vehicles and essential workers to have priority access to fuel amid the shortage.
The lack of HGV drivers has caused people to panic buy fuel, causing long queues, closure on the stations, which has affected vital services, Sophie Rosemary reports.
The question has been raised that during a fuel shortage, should NHS staff and other key workers have priority access to fuel? Vulnerable people have suffered disruption due to essential workers having to queue for hours to get to a pump after the Prime Minister announced that key workers will not get priority on fuel.
The fire engine would make themselves unavailable for a very short period while they refuel, and normally on a regular, at regular times that wouldn't be too impactful, but while people are queuing that can be quite impactful. So we've just been fueling like other members of the public at the minute. That's how we've been coping.
Many people, including the British Medical Association and London Mayor Sadiq Khan, have called for petrol stations to be reserved for those who need it.
I can sort myself out, I can use public transport, I can walk, I can do the things, whereas obviously that's their only option. They can't be walking to emergencies.
However, some people do not support the idea that key workers should be prioritised for fuel, after multiple Twitter users responded negatively to a BBC announcement that certain petrol stations are reserving their supply for key workers.
I think people would really want us to turn up in that worst case scenario. So if we do get to that state where there's real massive fuel shortages, I would like to think that people would want their emergency vehicles, ourselves, police, ambulance, to be fueled up and ready to go.
Despite the fuel shortage slowly improving in some areas, this shortage could continue for weeks.
During lockdown, University of Salford student Ben Allen used his spare time discovering his passion for volunteering.
Through chairing multiple societies, hosting events and reaching out to those around him, he has been able to climb up the social ladder and be recruited by multiple companies. Not only was he awarded the Spirit of Salford Award, he was also crowned Salford's Volunteer of the Year.
Hi, my name is Ben Allen. I'm a 20-year-old film production student at the Uni of Salford, and last year I was awarded Volunteer of the Year for my contributions to the SU and Salford Pride.
Ben works very closely with Salford Student Union to chair and create multiple societies for everyone.
Being an LGBT officer, that's something that I ran for in second year, and that was whenever we were all inside. What I wanted to do is reinstate the LGBT society because I think that's really important for safe spaces and having queer people connect with each other, and that's something that we didn't have last year. So one of the things I just wanted to do was reinstate it. I think Pride is such an important thing because it lets people come together and just be who they are. Before I started volunteering, my CV was not very good, and after volunteering it's led me to be sponsored by Deliveroo and Wiser as well. It's a recruitment company in London that I work for. We have clients like L'Oreal, Knight Frank, Evercore, huge people, so I now get paid to recruit students and stuff like that. It's definitely changed my view on where I'm going in my own career because it's actually helped me develop myself so much. I'm much more confident now as well, so it's nice.
Ben's strong passion for volunteering has only grew over the past year, which is why he was awarded Salford's Volunteer of the Year award.
I felt really rewarded because it was kind of a stamp on everything that I've been doing. Getting Volunteer of the Year definitely reiterated all of that for me, so it was a nice feeling. I'm really excited to see what the future holds.
Hannah Patterson, recording from Quays News.
Now, let's take a look at the main stories of the day.
The Prime Minister has told his party conference promoting opportunity across the UK is our mission as Conservatives.
Speaking to party colleagues, Boris Johnson has claimed that the UK is heading towards higher wage, higher productivity and lower tax economy.
A fisherman in France has threatened to block the ports of Calais and exports to the UK over some fishing rights disputes.
The fishermen feel cheated by the British government over fishing license applications and want action to be taken by the European Commission.
At the moment, only 31 out of 70 vessels have been granted permission to operate in British waters, but UK authorities will not authorise full licences due to insufficient evidence.
A man has been injured following a shooting in Salford yesterday evening.
Around 6:45 p.m. on a Tuesday, a man went into hospital with gunshot wounds. The incident happened just off Littleton Road in Kersal.
His injuries are not life-threatening and the police are treating it as an isolated case. Universities across the country are welcoming back students as the new academic year begins.
However, due to restrictions last year, many second-year students are only now getting the fresh experience that they hoped for. I went to the University of Salford to find out more. After a year of online classes, normality is returning here at the University of Salford. First years are being welcomed with a host of freshers events, helping them to make new friends and join clubs and societies.
So I signed up for SHOP, which is where we're at there tonight, and I signed up to the Rowing Society and Climbing, which I've not actually started yet, but the induction's like in the next couple of weeks, so I'm excited to go there as well.
First year students aren't struggling to get involved, but what about last year's freshers who spent their first months under COVID restrictions?
So I didn't get a freshers. I started uni I moved in late as well, so I started uni in quarantine, so I did nothing for freshers.
I spoke with Dr. Sam Grogan, Pro-Vice Chancellor of Student Experience at the University of Salford, and asked him just how important is a full freshers experience.
I think the definition of a full experience has changed quite significantly over the last 18 months for all the reasons that we know about. And so I do think it's important that all students actually take everything that the university can offer in a balanced manner to help them grow and become better future selves. That's what we're all here to do.
Whilst some second years feel they missed out last year, Dr. Sam shared his advice for making the most of their time now.
Hopefully the pandemic has given the opportunity for students to have another perspective, have another think. So consequently, my advice would be try and write where you want to go down. What would be a news headline that you might see written about yourself in 5 years' time, or that you would want written about yourself? How are you going to get there, and what's on offer to help you get there?
Perhaps these students didn't miss out after all, but have the chance to think about what they really want. For some students, though, it's now or never.
We've got this year and next year now to fit everything in that we want to do. So we're just going to have to manage it somehow. We're just going to have to juggle it.
It's great to see people living the freshers' life even in second year. Have you been living your best freshers' life?
Last year no, but yeah, this year I went to the Freshers Week and they gave us some free Domino's pizza, and I got the chance to join other societies like the Shock Radio Society for University of Salford. What about you?
Try to sign up for as many as I can, got to fill up my calendar. On to our next story. Fashion graduates down at the University of Salford have been busy working on one of their biggest collaborations yet. We sent our reporter, Lois James, down to check out the latest fashion.
The dream of many aspiring fashion designers has been granted for 30 graduates at the University of Salford. Their work on the shop floors of one of the most luxurious retail stores.
More than 150 garments have been designed by graduates themselves to be retailed at Harvey Nichols here in Manchester.
This is actually my first collection ever. This is the first time that I get my stuff being sold in a massive retail store in the UK. So hopefully in the near future, because I'll be putting this in my CV definitely, I'll get more opportunities from it. Oh my gosh, that's me. So this is my collection at Graduate Fashion Week in London. Most of the proceeds will come back to the designers, so if I do sell my stuff, it's going to come back to me, and that's going to help me a lot with my masters in the near future.
Made in Salford is a new venture between the luxury retailer and the university's internationally recognised fashion design course, bringing a capsule collection of graduate outcomes to the retail floor for the first time.
The collaboration is all about showcasing students' work in a very professional setting and in a way that is very different to students usually get.
Just gives people an opportunity to be able to show their works when it is such a hard industry to break through to. So I think it's just a lovely collaboration from each side, really.
We're hoping that we'll be able to replicate this in the future, maybe after every show or every large project. So if you haven't already bought something, go in store and have a look, try something on.
Lois James, Quays News.
Lucia Davis is an entertainer based in Media City who's recently created an app for children representing diversity in fun stories. Georgina Hapson reports.
Lucia Davies is a children's entertainer based in Media City, Salford. Lucia's World is an app she's recently created teaching children fun stories representing diversity.
All my stories, there's 7 on there, they all have an underlying message. So there's anti-bullying, there's equality. I'm writing one at the moment about 2 gay mums. They'll just all be, you know, through, you won't necessarily know it's about 2 gay mums. It's just that the 2 characters will be 2 mums, but the story will be funny. You know, you're not picking it out and going, this is about a mixed race family, or this is about a dog dying. You know, there's underlying messages in all my stories that are still fun. There's one on there called They Can Do, and that's about Black Lives Matter. I wrote that at the time, but again, the title's not Black Lives Matter. It's how children, if they read that story and they illustrate the book, that they realise that you don't judge a book by its cover and you don't stereotype people. But you can't use words like stereotyping people with 4 and 5-year-olds. You've just got to look at, you know, why have some of the animals got a bad rep? You know, why do we always say that a wolf is bad?
Georgina Hepson, Quays News.
What a great story, and now we're really excited to be talking to you all because earlier today we sent out a tweet all about volunteering, and this is some of the answers that we got from you guys. Let's have a look on Twitter. From Ruby Sturgis says, I volunteered for my local radio station. That's so much fun. Have you ever been on radio?
Yeah, I went to Salford City Radio.
Oh, yeah. Pretty cool.
And Ellie says, Easter egg delivery to my local care home in China Chile through school.
Thing is, with Easter egg deliveries, I think I'd want to be taking them for myself. So, Polly Luscombe says gone. Thank you for getting back to us. That's all from us for today. Make sure you follow us at Twitter at UOS Quays TV.
Goodbye. See you next week.